The reasoning is for students that take financial management, their junior or senior year to go and learn about and see what they actually learned in class. We go to NASDAQ, which we talk about the markets in financial management. So they actually get to go to NASDAQ and see the actual market that they have learned and talked about in class. And then we also get to meet with former prep alum that are working in New York, so they can kind of get to meet with them and hear about life in New York after they've transitioned from Jackson Prep and Mississippi.
So this New York trip is a financial management trip, Maggie. How did you apply those skills on the trip?
I applied my financial management skills when we were in Chinatown. I bargained with a lady over a purse, so Miss No was proud of us for not paying full price.
What is like the broad itinerary, like the main points outside of NASDAQ?
We do the normal touristy things. We do a Knicks game or a hockey game, depending on which is in season or that's in town that week. We ice skate. We actually do a Broadway play. We do, Hallie, what else do we do? I have some students in here that went on the trip. It's mainly the big points of ice skating, Knicks game, and a Broadway play. And we do Soho, Chinatown, Little Italy, the Color Factory. It's a lot, and the kids never believe me when I tell them there's very little sleep, and you average at least 10 miles a day in walking. So lots of walking, no sleep, and sometimes we don't have time to even grab dinner or lunch.
How was the play? Like, what play did you see, and how was it?
We actually saw Harry Potter this year, and we had some seat mix-up, so I was unable to actually see Harry Potter. So I listened to it in the foyer for 3.5 hours, so I actually cannot comment on. But the students said it was great. So I'm going to go with them and say that it was great, but I actually didn't see it. I could only hear out in the lobby. 48 students. That's the most we've ever taken this year. And in all honesty, it wasn't that bad. We had enough chaperones so that every chaperone was responsible for 10 students. COVID was still in effect in New York, so a lot of the things we could not get into a lot of the buildings to see our speakers or to hear our speakers because they were not allowing people into their offices. Also, we have 2 speakers that have moved to Miami, and we have another speaker that has moved to Nashville. So the trip looked a little different this year just because of COVID and our speakers. We had less speakers this year. But we picked up more. We went to the Met Gallery, which we've never done, and that was really a lot of fun this year. And we still met with a prep alum who we could not get into the all-girls school where she teaches, but she was able to meet us with 3 of her students inside the Met, and that was a lot of fun for the students. I think actually Dylan Burkhalter knows one of the girls that attends the all-girls school in Manhattan, so that was a lot of fun.
I'm here with Mr. Devine. So what was your role on the New York trip this year?
I was one of the 5 chaperones, which pretty much meant that I was in charge of 10 of the 48 students on the trip.
So how did this year differ with taking 48 students instead of the usual 20?
Well, I've been a chaperone only once before, and it was a number of years ago. I would say we had around half of the number of students, 30 max. So logistically, it was more complicated trying to take 48.
How was your overall traveling experience?
I thought we did pretty well. The plane ride up and back wasn't too bad. Miss No and I actually watched the movie Spencer on the way up with Kristen Stewart, and we both cried at the end. So it went by that bonding experience made it go by pretty quickly. The traveling on foot, I've mentioned my low point. That got kind of dicey sometimes. But other than that, I thought it was fine. We moved as a group. We got in and out of the subway pretty effectively. Since we're on our feet a lot, we didn't have a lot of sit-down places to eat. But outside of the Knicks game, Walker Poole found the best 99-cent slices of pizza in New York City. And so it was fun both eating that, which it was pretty good for 99 cents, and just watching people running back and forth for that shop. The food carts that we met periodically along our trip were also fun. The one closest to the Hilton where we stayed, I got a falafel dish that was pretty good later on at night when I was still hungry. So I would say those kinds of pickup foods, New York style pickup food.
So how was the overall hotel experience? Was it nice? Was it not nice?
It was very nice, and the rooms were comfortable. The only thing I would change is the $17 parfait for breakfast. That was a bit excessive.
Yes, I agree.
What was personally your favorite attraction that y'all went to in New York?
Oh, they're all fun. Really, we did the Summit, which is an all-glass building. That's the first time we've ever done that. We did that at night. That was pretty fun to kind of see the lights in the skyline of New York at night. And it's all glass, so that was pretty cool. We also did. I'm trying to think. There was something else we did Rise New York, which was a fun ride that they actually have, and it's kind of like soaring. That's in Epcot, but you're kind of flying over New York. So that was kind of cool. It was just the wait to get into the ride was rather long, but the ride itself was actually great. But probably the biggest thing with this trip is just watching seniors make memories with their classmates. And some of them, this will be the last trip that they actually get to take with their classmates. And that's always a lot of fun, watching them just laugh and make memories with their classmates. And some of them, it's their first trip ever to New York. So it's always a highlight to kind of watch them and their eyes light up when they see just how crazy New York is.
My favorite thing was probably the Knicks game. That was the first NBA game I've been to, so I was looking forward to that. My worst was probably on day 3 when we were headed in the wrong direction, and it started to feel a little bit like a torture march.
I love the Summit. It's like a 100-story glass building, so we got to see over New York, so that was really cool. Low was probably walking like a mile and a half to try to get to one of our locations. That was brutal. It was cold. We were all hungry and miserable, but it was a fun trip besides that.
My high was honestly just everything because I loved it, and I loved the Color Factory. And I don't really have a low because the whole trip was amazing and I had so much fun.
My favorite attraction was probably just Times Square, just that place in general. That was really cool. And my least favorite attraction was this place called Rise New York. It was terrible.
My favorite part about New York, it's very tough. It was really fun. I actually know what I would say. My favorite part of New York was the last night coming back from the Harry Potter play. Not the play, but walking back to our hotel. Everyone just seemed to be in a good mood. And we were walking and we ran into these Ukraine protesters, pro-Ukraine, anti-Russia, of course. And we were just chanting with them and cheering with them. It was really nice atmosphere. Enjoyed it very much.
I know we had some speakers, so what could you take away from that? What was their message?
They really encouraged us to put yourselves out there, try new things, get involved in stuff, and just kind of start making connections with people who could help you get to either New York or wherever you want to go. So I thought that was really inspirational.
We had 4 speakers in total. 3 of them were at our hotel in the convention room, but the first one was at the NASDAQ in Times Square, which was very interesting. I can't exactly remember his position, but it was very up there. He really explained NASDAQ as a company, just how operations are run there, where they're all employed, mostly in Times Square. And then, which was really cool, is he had a Q&A. So we were able to ask him about stocks, and he really broke down crypto, which kind of shocked me because you don't think NASDAQ and crypto. But he really broke it down and explained NFTs and all that good stuff. Helped me, my understanding of it. So I would say it went very well.
I'm here with Cooper Moore, so tell me a little bit about the speaker Alexandra that y'all had.
When I heard her speak to us, I don't remember exactly what position she held, but it was really interesting for her to talk about the practicality of living in New York and what she does for a living. She told us that she reads 8 hours a day. I thought that was really cool and really impressive because she obviously loves what she does to be able to do that. And she explained how she was basically the middleman for authors trying to publish books. And she read over the books and told them if it was good or not. And that's pretty cool.
I'm Alex Mullen. I'm here with Gibson Brown to talk about his favorite speaker of the New York trip. Gibby, who did you enjoy most speaking at the New York trip?
Lamar Phillips was one of my favorite speakers on the trip. She is a copywriter, and she did advertisements for Apple and UFC and other things like that. Interesting, very interesting.
Thank you, Gibson.